at 6:30. I'd like to call to order the October 16th Board of Directors meeting for the Lawrenceburg Conservancy District.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Andy Lyons. Here. Tom Snyder. Here. Mike Knoll.
Here.
Dave Staub.
Here.
Randy Tyler.
I'm here.
Greg McAdams.
Here.
Jared Eubank is present. Heather Shaw.
Here.
All right.
All right, we need approval of the minutes from September 18th, 2025. Anybody have any questions on that?
No questions, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Anybody have anything to add to the agenda? Nothing?
No.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Greg? Second?
Second.
Tom? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly claims and vouchers. Anybody have any questions on there? I didn't see anything.
No.
Need a motion to approve the monthly claims and vouchers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, new meeting time. Remind everybody that's starting next month, 4:30. Our board meetings will be 4:30 from now on, starting November 20th. Next thing is our old side-by-side that we're going to be getting rid of. Got a couple options on that. I talked to Paul a little bit about this earlier in the week. The school system showed interest in it. So we kind of have two options: donate it to them guys or take it up to Lutz's for auction.
Dave, I got a question.
Yeah.
Paul had said at the last meeting when we ordered the new one that, it was gonna be the only way of transportation for, well, I guess the guys could drive them over, they just couldn't drive the trucks, is that correct?
Correct.
For summer help?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess with the new one, we really wouldn't need this one then. I saw where it was, in a little worse shape, so.
Yeah, he said we wouldn't need it. He wants to keep it through winter because it's got the plow setup on it. Once we get through winter, they'll pull that setup off and retrofit it on our new one. Our new one's not in yet. So when it comes time to get rid of that, we're looking at donating it to the school system or take it to Lutz's. Anybody?
If Jared doesn't see a reason why we can't donate it to the school, I think.
Absolutely, you can donate it to the school. So any municipality, you can sell it directly to municipality, you can give it to municipality or any other government agency. Not even restricted to Indiana, so.
Doesn't even sound like it's got much value,
Right.
even,
Probably
even
gonna take a lot of
today.
work to keep it going.
Probably.
So do we need to give it to them or do we sell it to them?
Either or.
We-
Okay.
Yeah, just donate it, so.
As long as he's, Jared's okay,
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion that we donate it, as somebody said.
Second.
Just one comment with
Sure.
the bill of sale with it. So whenever we do get it going, just make sure we hand over the bill of sale, just to recognize the transfer. Of course, we'll keep it on our books to show that
There is
capacity.
no liability.
Oh, no.
All right, got a first by Greg, second by Andy. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We're donating it to the school when we're finished with it. Unfinished business. Jared, what do you have for us on, the city of Lawrenceburg resolution?
I haven't seen it, but Jim said they got it, and so it was pretty much, I saw the unsigned version, so it's exactly what we asked for, they actually signed it. I think last meeting we were waiting for, what was it, Tommy Roulette was the one out of invitation, so they signed it. There's a statement on here about minutes. I haven't seen any of the minutes on there, but, you know, my position is this, they signed it. That's exactly what we're looking for. If you guys want me to, I'll dig deeper and find those minutes.
So Dell hasn't sent you anything, on that?
He sent it to Jim.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, directly to
Okay.
Jim. So Jim said he got it, and so
Okay.
he says it's exactly the same as it was, exactly what was presented to him.
Okay. Moving on, the grant project, there's an update on Aaron Houchin's office with, JMT. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know they're working with Houchin's office on a grant. It's up to, they go up to $10 million. It will require a match, and we can use it towards engineering and design work. That's all I really know right now. And Berm wasn't able to make it tonight, so. Heather, you have something for us on the county contacts?
Yes, Paul, gave me some notes, to report in his stead. He has contacted all of the county council members and commissioners. He's on the agenda, he has himself on the agenda for 11/13 of the council, 11/18 of the commissioners. It is his goal at that meeting to request a special meeting with all of them together in order to get JMT and then Dell there, like we did for Norrisburg and Brookdale, to kind of explain the need for the Blue Well grant and the grant process.
Okay. Superintendent's report for the Greendale levy, like I said, Barton couldn't be here tonight. So there's nothing really other than what I was talking about with the grant. Lawrenceburg levy, Michael.
Michael, you mean John?
No,
No,
different.
Oh, okay,
different.
sorry.
It's all right. Thank you all, appreciate it. So I just have a few updates on ongoing projects. For the seepage drain, that's still in the hands of Ford at this time. So we've been communicating with them and they basically will get back to us when they've completed their review, and then we can start that bidding process. So then there's the structural issue with the gates and the wells. So Paul and I had quite a few conversations this past month, because we received a follow-up from our questions that I threw back at the core structural person. And we met with Acuren on the phone and went over these items. And in doing that, there was just enough confusion back and forth from us not fully understanding what the Corps is requesting, and so we've decided to do a joint meeting with Acuren, the LCD, and ourselves. So we're gonna set that up when Paul gets back. I don't know how the Corps is operating right now in terms of the government shutdown. I don't know if that's affecting them at all. So, you know, there might have to be some patience in trying to get that organized, but that is our next step. So when Paul gets back, we're gonna set that up.
Yeah, I saw the last email from the Corps. It was pretty involved what they were asking for.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're not really sure how involved it is. It just wasn't crystal clear. And, so hopefully that will get us all on the same page, and then we can move forward. So, we don't wanna spin our wheels and waste money, obviously. And then, I wasn't at the last meeting, but, you approved getting the permits going on the US 50 gate closure, and we've started making some progress on that, obviously very little progress, which just mostly conversations at this point. But our goals for that project are try to get this organized and ready for like spring closure. Obviously, not something we wanna do in the winter, so we're not gonna push through with the weather and all that. Could be a bigger issue. Plus, we wanna look at, the condition of the rails. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that, some of those rails are starting to hit really badly. So we're looking at maybe into some coatings that when we do this, maybe we can do something to help prolong the life of that. So anything that we'd be doing in those lines would have to be a little bit warmer weather anyway, so. So we're looking more at a springtime target for that, so. And that's pretty much all I had as an update for this evening.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
John, you're up.
Sorry, I was a little eager jumping the gun there. Sorry, Michael. This will be a fairly short report. Two key things. We'll talk quickly about where we are on our seepage analysis and our relief wells, and secondly on this Army Corps nationwide risk evaluation that we've heard from and had a meeting with the Corps. So first things first on the seepage, we've been in communication with Paul over this past month. As you recall, our plan is to do a series of replacement wells, relief wells in a step-by-step process. And one of the questions we're trying to answer so that you can all get going on your financial conversations in November is, when could we have the levee ready with well replacements that would meet the 100-year flood level for the FEMA review? And so what we've done in order to get that answer to Paul initially end of October, 1st of November, so you have it ready for your next time in November, is to work on what we would call our final seepage model and design. We're actually in that process right now. It's going well, and we anticipate getting some answers for you again, like at the end of October, beginning of November, where you can have that information to have your discussions. And those kind of things we're answering are, the number of wells, which ones to replace, the spacing of the wells, those kind of things. So that's going well, and we hope to have that information to you all fairly soon. On this Army Corps nationwide risk evaluation, we met with the Corps here recently, and they gave us an overview of what this program's all about. And just to let you know, and they gave us some information on where we stacked on this preliminary screening. But this is kind of a nationwide effort for the Corps, and what they're doing is they've got this portfolio of all the levees, and they're trying to classify the levees in a kind of a big, broad picture to say which ones have high risk, which ones have the most severe consequences if they fail. And it's really a management tool for them more than it is for us, because this risk evaluation they did doesn't really impact our FEMA accreditation or our rehabilitation program through the Corps. And because those require certain design things we have to do, but this is kind of helping them with their planning. And so what they do with each levee is, for our levee, they run it through kind of a worst case scenario of what could happen if the levee was breached somewhere. And the kind of things they look at, there are three things they look at. They look at how the levee would fail, or the performance they would expect with a failing levee, the consequences, how many people die, what is the financial damage to the properties behind, and then kind of the hazard. What is the Ohio River hazard? And so basically what we've done, they gave us a report. They identified this failure mechanism called backward erosional piping, which I think we've talked to you all about, is what we're actually looking at, and they identified it as a key concern. And by the way, That is what our relief wells prevent. We hope that it prevents. But yet that, they pointed out for their very broad screening, and by the way, they didn't look at all the information we've generated, they don't look at that information for all the levies. They look at key components to make these judgments, but they identified that as a failure mechanism possibility. They identified Lawrenceburg as a high risk consequence because you have large economic and human consequences behind this levy. So you get put into a certain risk class just because of the number of people behind the levies and the value of all the properties and things behind the levy. And then what we found out when we reviewed what they did, when they use such broad assumptions to make these kind of judgments, is sometimes they get it slightly wrong. And so when we had the meeting with them, Luke Johnstone and I kind of chimed in on several things we noticed of assumptions they made that may not be quite correct. And so what we said is to provide our feedback based on Mundell's knowledge and all the work we've done on the levy, some corrections that could be made in some of their assumptions that would do a better job at screening our levy. And so we're going to be feeding that information to them next week, so they have that. Reason why we're feeding it so soon is because they're having a meeting with their risk experts on November 3rd, and we're invited to attend that meeting where they will present the results of a number of these screening risk evaluations they've done, and incorporate some of the information that we've shared with them. And also it'll be a chance for us to talk, if we want to, with their risk experts. So anyway, the bottom line is all this information is preliminary. It doesn't really impact our FEMA or our core key design that we're going through, but it does put Lawrenceburg in a kind of classification once the screening is done to say, are you in the top 10% of the levies that are of a concern because of just the circumstances of how many people are behind the levy? Are you in the next 20% or 25%? Are you at the very lowest risk because there's really nothing behind the risk? So we just wanted to update you on the fact that we've had those discussions with the Corps. We're going to be meeting with them again on November 3rd. So those were the two things I wanted to kind of go through and let you know tonight. So any questions you all might have?
Doesn't look like it.
No.
Just to add, they rated us a 3 out of a scale of 5, 1 being bad, 5 being perfect. Almost nobody is perfect,
Oh,
basically it's a community that has
Nothing to lose.
almost nobody. But,
Well, and again, like I said, there are a couple assumptions they made that may allow us to change the rating slightly because they made some assumptions that weren't quite as good, but some things are fixed based on just the characteristics of our levy. And in general, they said any information from this that goes to FEMA, they think FEMA will look at it as very positive because we've got a lot of good things in place, but we also, we've got people behind the levy, and it's gonna, we're not gonna be in the low risk category. We're gonna be, like we've said, this level of 3 may be able to alter a little bit, but is nothing to be concerned about. And actually, I think with what we're doing here with these evaluations, where we're going, we're in really good shape. It's just, people like that say things are all perfect, and they never are, so.
John, does the value of the property that we protect, does that also get filtered in with that risk assessment?
I think it does. I think it does, and what they do is they have this numbering system, where some of this is just judgment. It's not an exact science. They say, or how many people behind the levy. the value of the properties, et cetera. I think JMT had a very big interest in some of their work they did because they used a database to come up with some of them, those numbers. And I think JMT was wanting to make sure, for example, in their grant proposals that they're using some of the similar information. But yeah, I think so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if it's okay, I'll scoot on out. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
All right, community athletic park, boom mower, that we approved last month has been ordered. We have not received it. The side-by-side has been ordered. It's due in anytime. And we've received the water wheel. Secretary report.
Yes, we have a meeting scheduled with you to go over their annual contract with the every year, so at the end of this month, we have a meeting.
Okay. Attorney report, election update.
All right, well, we're in election season, so next week, starting on the 24th, I believe, the ad will start running, asking for nominations. We actually had somebody today, Justin Billig, sitting here that's thinking about throwing his hat into the ring. I told him not to do it, he still wants to go ahead. But just to get the fine tuning of it all, I sent the board the 93 freeholders as winnowed down from the list. So those will be our 93 people voting. If anybody that says, hey, can I get a list of the address or anything, please give it, that's public record, everything else like that. With you, Heather, people may be coming into the office to get the nomination form, so I'll get that over to you, just so you can have a couple to hand out or whatever. So just to go through the procedure just very quickly with you guys. November 1st kicks it off, that's where we start receiving nominations. Nominations will close December 1st, and then approximately December 10th to 14th, the printer usually gets us the envelopes and the election ballots, and then we mail those out. Of course, election ballots and everything will be due usually that afternoon of the election, just so we cut it off at some point, so it's usually at 2 o'clock on that day. You of course can vote in person, or you can vote by mail-in ballot. So in any event, we're rocking and rolling. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns, or anybody else they think might be running or anything like that I may need to contact? Seriously, if someone comes up to you and wants to run, please give them my contact info. I'm pretty good at looking over the nominations. Those that ran before, bring them in, I'll take a look, make sure they're good, and you can extend that to anybody else running. So that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jared. Finance committee report. Heather's gonna take us through all of this.
Okay, so we have, the management report, that we get each month, but this is for the quarter end. In all, we look, pretty good. We've still got, over half of our budget remaining. It's, we've got certainly enough to, finish out what we have to do for this year. Next is the, just a rough estimate of the lease agreement so far. Obviously, this is going to change based on what our actual spending and income is, but this is what it's looking like. You can see there an estimate of what would be refunded to the city, and that is right there at the bottom. But that is not assured, and it's really a rough number, so.
Okay.
Then we've got the statement of net assets and activities, balance sheet and income statement. It just takes all of the data that we have, year to date and puts that on financial statements. What net assets is what we own, and then activities is what we've made and what we've spent, by category. So if you have any questions on any of that, let me know. Anytime you can, and if anybody's interested in, not familiar with financial statements, we're looking at that as well. The, next page is from Reedy, sort of their engagement invoicing rate. we've spent with them to date. So our contract is for up to 60,000, and we've spent 43 to date, that leaves us with about 17. We can use, you can see the different categories where we spent your money.
Do they still do a lot of end of year work, or do we take most of it?
So, this year, it happens in January, so this year they came and showed me the two reports the two big reports to do, and then the other stuff, I asked them about, and they just said, we'll put this and put this, and that's all you need to talk about, so.
I can't remember, does their contract go through January or stop at the end of the year?
I believe it is in December, so they start here. So next year, we may not need as much of that.
So we're still in pretty good shape.
I think so. That big number, the biggest bill we get from them is, year-end stuff. Then, the reconciliations, those are checked, they've been reviewed and they're good, but, I think Jim should have that form to sign, he just isn't here to provide it, so. Alright, budget, all the fund budget forms, budget 2 is just an estimate of our revenue, an actual for the rental, and we tend to be conservative on the interest. Expect, now this form, next budget form 1, this is what you've seen just in a different format, so this is the expenses that we're expecting. In our budget, and with that total of 8281, which includes the 4.2 million for the grant match. Next form is just, I don't know that I gave you that one.
Mhm.
So, then we have the resolution, so, we need to have that noted on and signed, and I'll upload that to Gateway once the budget is approved. If you have any questions on any of that, though, please ask.
Alright, we need a motion to approve the 2026 budget adoption resolution. Am I saying that right, Jared?
You are saying correctly.
Can I get a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
First by Greg, second by Mike, all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Heather, for the work.
Yeah, thanks, Heather.
You just gotta put there to sign or do.
Yeah.
Takes us to Personnel Committee report, union contract renewal update. We haven't had a meeting for 2 weeks. I was out of town last week, union rep was out of town last week, Jim's out of town this week. So we're meeting again next week. And meeting adjourned.